Hang on, what if that Louis Vuitton bag you've been saving up for isn't the French-crafted treasure you thought? Let me tell you, a China leak is flipping the luxury world upside down, and Louis Vuitton is getting exposed like never before.
Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag. That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material.
Luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. The viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy over claims that some of the most iconic designer bags are actually born in the East.
Let me just tell you, Louis Vuitton isn't just a brand, it's a lifestyle. For decades, Louis Vuitton has sold us a dream. Handcrafted bags, stitched by French artisans in quaint ateliers, with price tags like $2,000 for a Speedy or $3,500 for a Never Full. That Made in France label, it's the golden ticket justifying why we're dropping thousands on leather. But whispers of a China leak are threatening to tear that dream apart, and Louis Vuitton is scrambling to keep its crown. This isn't just about one bag, it's about an empire. Louis Vuitton is the star of LVMH, the world's biggest luxury conglomerate run by billionaire Bernard Arnault. LVMH owns 75 brands. Think Dior, Givenchy, even Moet Champagne, and Louis Vuitton alone pulls in billions yearly. Arnault, the guy steering this ship, is a legend, once called the Wolf in Cashmere for his ruthless business moves. His fortune's been estimated at over $150 billion, making him one of the richest men alive. But now, Louis Vuitton's pristine image is cracking, and Arnault's empire is feeling the heat.
Got a lot of requests, do Hermes next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
Made in China. Or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way.
So Hermes has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
Why does this matter? Because Louis Vuitton's whole vibe, European elegance, exclusivity, that French factory fairy tale, is what makes us fork over insane cash. If those bags are coming from somewhere else, like a factory in China, it's not just a PR hiccup. It's a betrayal of everything Louis Vuitton stands for. Picture this. You're strutting with your LV tote, feeling like $1 million, only to find out it might have been churned out for $15 in a place Louis Vuitton swore it never touched. That's the kind of gut punch we're talking about. But listen to this. The China leak isn't just a rumor. It's a full-blown scandal rocking the internet. For years, Louis Vuitton's leaned hard into its French heritage, with glossy ads showing artisans hand-stitching leather in Paris. Now, those ads feel like a slick lie. The stakes are sky high because trust is everything in luxury. If Louis Vuitton's been playing us, it's not just their reputation on the line. It's the whole LVMH machine. And trust me, when a brand this big starts wobbling, the fallout is wild. So how did we get here? It all started with a few TikTok videos that blew the lid off Louis Vuitton's so-called French factory secrets. Let me tell you, TikTok is a battleground right now, and Louis Vuitton is in the crosshairs.
Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
Videos from Chinese factory workers have gone viral, claiming over 80% of Louis Vuitton's iconic bags. Your Never Fulls, your Speedies, even those $4,000 trunks are made in China, not some dreamy French factory. These clips aren't just talk. Workers are showing stacks of leather, stitching machines, and bags that look identical to what's in Louis Vuitton boutiques, all coming from Chinese warehouses. One worker dropped a bomb. These bags cost as little as $15 to make. $15. Yet, Louis Vuitton slaps on a logo, ships them to Europe, adds a Made in France tag, and charges you thousands. That's the kind of markup that makes your jaw drop.
I've spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
It gets crazier. Fans aren't just mad, they're furious. Social media is exploding with people feeling scammed, posting videos of themselves storming Louis Vuitton stores, demanding answers. How's this luxury if it's made in China? They're yelling. TikTok's flooded with hashtags like #Louis Vuitton exposed, racking up millions of views. Some clips show customers checking their bag's serial numbers, only to find codes hinting at Chinese origins. The betrayal stings because Louis Vuitton's built its name on being untouchable. French elegance, exclusive vibes, the works. Now, that image is crumbling faster than a knockoff bag's stitching. These leaks aren't just hurting feelings, they're sparking a movement. Chinese suppliers are cutting out Louis Vuitton entirely, offering brandless versions of the same bags for $50 online. Shoppers are eating it up, and Louis Vuitton's losing control of the narrative.
Birkin, am I right? Oh, yeah. I couldn't even be mad at her because when I asked her, I was like, I wanted to see if she was gonna tell me the truth. I was like, Coach, did you draw mommy's purse?
Literally spent $60,000 on this purse. Look what my daughter did to my purse.
My house is on fire. I would take this one out of all of them.
The public's not just side-eyeing the brand, they're calling it a glorified hustle. Imagine saving for years to flex an LV bag, only to learn it's basically a logo with a 10,000% markup. That's why this China leak is more than gossip. It's a wake-up call. But hold up, Louis Vuitton didn't just sit there. They're fighting back. And what they did next only made this mess juicier. So, Louis Vuitton's getting dragged online. But are these China leak claims legit? Let's get into it. Louis Vuitton came out swinging with a statement saying, these accusations are false. They insist every bag meets meticulously high standards and is crafted in their French factories, just like the ad's promise. Sounds good, right? Except they didn't show a single receipt. No factory tours, no videos of French artisans at work, nothing to shut down the TikTok chaos. That silence is loud, and it's got fans raising eyebrows. But that's not all. Other luxury brands have been caught in similar scandals, making Louis Vuitton's denial feel shaky. In 2024, Dior and Armani got busted in Italy for using sweatshops to make their made-in-Italy goods. Workers were paid pennies, working in grim conditions, yet those brands charged thousands. Sound familiar? It's starting to feel like the whole luxury game might be built on half-truths. Compare that to brands like Chanel, who've opened their factories to cameras, showing every stitch. Louis Vuitton? Crickets. The China leak videos keep piling up, with workers showing detailed processes that match Louis Vuitton's designs to a T. Some fans even cross-checked bag linings and hardware. Yep, they're identical. Without hard proof from Louis Vuitton, the public's leaning toward believing the leaks. And why not? The math adds up. $15 to make, $2,000 to buy. That's not craftsmanship, that's a markup. Still, some argue Louis Vuitton's quality control, wherever it's made, is what justifies the price. Maybe, but when you're selling a French factory fantasy, you better deliver. Right now, Louis Vuitton's lack of transparency is only fueling the fire. This isn't just about one brand slipping up, it's a crack in the luxury world's armor. And trust me, what's coming next shows just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Hang on, because this Louis Vuitton drama isn't just about bags. It's tied to a global showdown. The US-China trade war is turning up the heat, and Louis Vuitton's caught in the middle. Back in 2024, the US slapped 145% tariffs on Chinese goods, trying to flex on China's manufacturing muscle. China didn't blink. Instead, they flipped the script, exposing how much the world, especially luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, leans on their factories. Those TikTok videos, they're not just leaks. They're China saying, you need us more than we need you. It gets worse. Chinese suppliers are done playing middleman for Louis Vuitton. They're selling bags straight to shoppers, no logo, no markup, for as low as $50. These aren't fakes. They're the same bags made in the same factories, just without the Louis Vuitton stamp. Shoppers are jumping on it, and Louis Vuitton's losing its grip on the market. This isn't just a scandal, it's economic warfare. The luxury industry, worth over $400 billion, is shaking. Brands like Gucci and Hermes are seeing sales tank, especially in China, where wealthy shoppers are rethinking their loyalties. Louis Vuitton's parent, LVMH, reported a 3% sales drop in Asia last year, and these leaks aren't helping. The China leak is rewriting the rules. Why pay $2,000 for a Louis Vuitton bag when you can get the real thing for a fraction? This trade war's ripple effect is brutal. Tariffs make it pricier for Louis Vuitton to import materials, so they jack up prices, alienating fans. Meanwhile, Chinese factories are flexing their power, showing they can outplay the luxury giants. It's a wake-up call for the whole industry. Keep lying about your French factory, and you'll get exposed. But the drama doesn't stop here. Someone at the top is feeling the heat, and it's about to get personal. Hang on, because this Louis Vuitton drama isn't just about bags. It's tied to a global showdown. The US-China trade war is turning up the heat, and Louis Vuitton's caught in the middle. Back in 2024, the US slapped 145% tariffs on Chinese goods, trying to flex on China's manufacturing muscle. China didn't blink. Instead, they flipped the script, exposing how much the world, especially luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, leans on their factories. Those TikTok videos, they're not just leaks. They're China saying, "You need us more than we need you." It gets worse. Chinese suppliers are done playing middleman for Louis Vuitton. They're selling bags straight to shoppers, no logo, no markup, for as low as $50. These aren't fakes. They're the same bags made in the same factories, just without the Louis Vuitton stamp. Shoppers are jumping on it, and Louis Vuitton's losing its grip on the market. This isn't just a scandal, it's economic warfare. The luxury industry, worth over $400 billion, is shaking. Brands like Gucci and Hermes are seeing sales tank, especially in China, where wealthy shoppers are rethinking their loyalties. Louis Vuitton's parent, LVMH, reported a 3% sales drop in Asia last year, and these leaks aren't helping. The China leak is rewriting the rules. Why pay $2,000 for a Louis Vuitton bag when you can get the real thing for a fraction? This trade war's ripple effect is brutal. Tariffs make it pricier for Louis Vuitton to import materials, so they jack up prices, alienating fans. Meanwhile, Chinese factories are flexing their power, showing they can outplay the luxury giants. It's a wake-up call for the whole industry. Keep lying about your French factory, and you'll get exposed. But the drama doesn't stop here. Someone at the top is feeling the heat, and it's about to get personal. Let me tell you, when your empire's worth billions, you don't expect it to crumble over a few TikTok videos. But Bernard Arnault, the mastermind behind Louis Vuitton and LVMH, is sweating. At 76, Arnault's been the untouchable king of luxury, planning to run LVMH until he's 85. Now, rumors are swirling he might bail early. Why? The China leak and these French factory lies are hitting him where it hurts, his legacy and his wallet. It gets crazier. In one brutal morning in 2024, LVMH's stock crashed 7%, wiping out $9 billion of Arnault's fortune. That's not pocket change, even for a guy worth $150 billion. The culprit? Weak sales in China, where luxury spending's drying up, plus those viral videos exposing Louis Vuitton's manufacturing. Fans aren't just mad, they're ditching the brand. Arnault's sons, Antoine and Alexandre, are stepping up, but they're untested in a crisis this big. LVMH is not just fighting TikTok, it's battling tariffs, a slowing economy, and a trust crisis. Louis Vuitton's sneaky price hikes, 3% to 6% in 2025, no warning, didn't help. Shoppers found out at checkout feeling played. Arnault's always banked on Louis Vuitton's clout, but now that clout's fading. The man who built an empire on French factory prestige is watching it unravel as China leaks keep coming. This isn't just business, it's personal. Arnault's pride is on the line, and whispers of his exit are shaking the industry. But hold up, the fans have something to say, and their reactions are splitting the internet in half. So, what do Louis Vuitton fans think about this China leak mess? Let's get into it. The internet split like never before. On one side, loyalists are livid. They've spent years saving for Louis Vuitton bags, believing they were buying French factory magic. Now, learning those bags might be made in China for $15, they feel straight up scammed. TikTok's full of rants. People waving their $2,000 bags, screaming, "I paid for this?" Some are even reselling their Louis Vuittons, swearing off the brand for good. But listen to this. Not everyone's mad. Some fans shrug and say, "Who cares where it's made? It's the 55 logo I'm flexing." For them, Louis Vuitton's status is worth the price. China or not, they're still lining up for new drops, unbothered. This divide shows how tricky luxury is. It's not just about quality, it's about the vibe. Louis Vuitton's in hot water, though. Those sneaky price hikes and zero transparency are eroding trust. If they keep dodging the French factory question, they risk losing even their diehards. The whole luxury world's watching. Chanel and Hermes are dead quiet, probably praying they dodge the next China leak. This could change everything. If more brands get exposed, shoppers might ditch $3,000 bags for direct-from-factory deals. The $400 billion luxury market's at a crossroads, and Louis Vuitton's fumble could set the tone. One thing's clear, trust is harder to rebuild than a monogram bag, and what's next might just blow this scandal wide open. Well, there you have it. The Louis Vuitton exposed saga is a wild ride. From TikTok's China leak bombshells to French factory lies, Bernard Arnault's empire is wobbling. Fans are split, some raging over $15 bags sold for thousands, others still chasing that Louis Vuitton clout. LVMH's stocks tanking, Arnault's fortunes bleeding, and the luxury world's holding its breath. This isn't just about one brand, it's a wake-up call for an industry built on trust and prestige. Will Louis Vuitton come clean or keep dodging? And here's the kicker, if more leaks drop, no luxury brand's safe. So, would you still buy a Louis Vuitton bag knowing it might not be French-made? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe for more tea on scandals like this.